of 2023, and we are pleased that we have Professor Reena Sharma, the Chief Scientist from the National Physical Laboratory, New Delhi. She's very experienced not only in the technology and R&D but also in the standards. As I know, she is also the APEC assessor and doing large number of assessments of 17025, 17011 and others. So ma'am, it is our fortunate that you are here to bless us with your kind words how to do this proficiency testing. As we are all aware, in these standards, this proficiency testing is very important, and we have this facility in India. Large number of laboratories are providing this facility under your guidance and cooperation. This type of guidance and cooperation, the legal metrology also require from you. And with this, ma'am, as I know that I cannot speak more about you. You have large number of research papers, your PhD and all I know about it, about you. You are an international figure having a lot of research experience, not only in India, but outside the India in different countries. So actually, and APEC also, you have done a lot in producing these CMCs of India in the length measurement. So ma'am, I would not speak more. Actually, we have requested our joint secretary sir also to join. I think he has not joined yet. Santoshji, whether he has joined?
No, sir. No, sir. Still not.
Okay. So what we'll do, we'll just start the program, and as soon as he joins, we will request to inaugurate this workshop. As we have Professor Reena Sharma, and I know that she is a wonderful speaker. There will not be any problem in future, and I understand that everybody will understand what she would like to explain them. We have with us our director sir, Shri B.N. Dikshit Sahab. Sir, would you like to speak 2 words? We are just going to start the workshop. Dikshit Sahab. Okay, ma'am, kindly share your screen,
Yes,
please.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
Please.
This is a very good workshop.
Thank you, Ashutosh. You are also very much committed to the metrology cause. So we are people who are working for spreading metrology ahead. But however, your introduction has raised expectation of the audience. I hope I can meet it to some extent. I didn't know that there will be college students. For them, it may be new because they may not be knowing 17025. So what we will do in between, around after 1 hour, I will stop and I will ask them some questions so that when we go further, they can their questions can be taken up so that they are online with us. In between, if you see some questions in chat box, then please let me know. Okay.
Okay.
So I will try to share my screen, and I thank you for this opportunity. It's my pleasure to share whatever little I know with others. And as they say, the best method of learning anything is to share your knowledge by way of teaching or delivering it off. So,
and ma'am, at the end of the program, we will be having the group photos. We will allow all the participants to share their cameras, and we will take the photos and we'll put it on the Twitter handle so that they can like and they can retweet it.
Okay, so now is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am, your screen is visible.
Should I go to what?
Please.
Full screen
Please.
mode, I'm going now.
Please.
Now it is full screen mode?
Yes, yes, ma'am. It's very good.
Slides are moving?
Yes, yes, they are moving.
Good. So now we are good to go. So thank you all the audience who are here to listen to this. So this is topic for today is introduction to proficiency testing and ISO IEC 17043. So actually it is ISO IEC 17043 which Indian standards have adopted. So there is a prefix IS there. So when we are talking in India, we talk as the full Indian standards name. Okay. So my name is Reena Sharma. Mr. Ashutosh has already introduced it, so there is no need to go about it. But this standard, why it is needed is actually a little bit prelude will be needed for 17025 and accreditation. So what we will be talking about is in conformity assessment, laboratory accreditation, what does it mean? Then we will go over to inter-laboratory comparison. with which everybody can relate, be it students and others. Then we go to proficiency testing. Like for students, I can say like you have language proficiency test. Same way the labs have a proficiency test where in language proficiency, what do you do? IELTS and all, where your English language proficiency is known. Here, the proficiency is about their calibration and testing capability, how proficient they are. In Hindi, we call it dakshta. कितने दक्ष हैं वो अपने काम में, जितना अनसर्टेनिटी से वो बोलते हैं उतना कर पाते हैं कि नहीं. So proficiency to test how the labs can measure how accurately within the uncertainty that has been claimed by them. Okay, so we call it in short as PT. Then PT as a tool for quality assurance of the result. 17025 accreditation requires it, so we will be talking about it. 17025 requirement. Then we will go over to the standard they have mentioned, ISO IEC 17043. Full name you will know when we go there. And then we will be talking little bit about the statistical methods. You know, proficiency testing course in itself is 4 days for standard and for 2 days for statistics. But here, as I called it an introduction, I will just be giving you food for thought, an introduction to it, so that later on you know what to read, where to read, and all. Okay. So those who are interested in greater details may go further. So let us start first from the metrology. Metrology is the science of measurement and its application. This word, you see some of the books in school, college, etc. will be calling it only science of measurement. But this word and its application was added in mid 2000, I think 2008 or 2012, because the rationale behind it was that whatever be the field of application, everywhere measurement is required. Even an artist, while making a portrait, will be making a grid and making a ratio measurement of the body parts, etc. So architecture also needed. So it's not only about science, application is everywhere. So whatever be the field of measurement and whatever be the uncertainty in measurement, that means whatever be the accuracy level, metrology is always there. So the definition also says that. And in any country, like legal metrology, you know, has a mandate to enforce the requirements of the legal metrology. So they go and check weights and measures, and are they accurate enough? So for any country, the first requirement in metrology comes with the trade. That is the job of legal metrology, that consumers get what has been told to them. If it is 1 kg, 1 liter, whatever. So in every country, it starts from them, and slowly as country starts developing and technology develops, there will be need for advanced measurements, etc. For example, here I have shown in picture nano measurements of some nanostructures. Okay, so metrology encompasses right from trade to high level science. So you have trade on one hand and you have a high level science on other hand. So it is everywhere in the technology. Your car, for example, may be having more than 5,000 parts, and not necessarily all parts are made in one place. So how they fit, it will result in the performance of your car. So there metrology and traceability will be coming. So we will be coming to that. So in each country, how this measurement system goes. So there are 4 elements, that are 4 pillars. One is standards like BIS, Bureau of Indian Standards. They write a standard. For example, even if you are buying a pen, what should be the specification of a pen or ball pen? That will be written by Standards Institute. Then some lab has to measure and certify it that, okay, this is meeting that specification. Now, the tools that lab is using, are they correct? Who will certify whose tools are correct? So for that matter, each nation has a National Measurement Institute, which is in India is my institute, that is National Physical Laboratory. Okay, and then this is one part, National Metrology Institute, who is custodian of physical measurement. Then legal metrology is enforcement part of it. They go and check whether whatever things are going right. Everything else will be voluntary. Then accreditation comes for this lab who was measuring this pen specification, whether they are doing the right way or not, that is accreditation. So for each country, there are 4 pillars. Number 1, Measurement Institute. Number 2, legal metrology. Number 3, standards. And number 4, accreditation. So these 4 are required for every country. Now, from one country to other country also trade is happening. So how they will uh, recognize each other's measurement? So first of all, what is a National Metrology Institute? It is decided by a national decision. That is the definition. In India, the national decision comes from our Parliament. Okay. So it is a Parliament Act is saying that National Physical Laboratory will be custodian of standards. Now, these all the countries, National Metrology Institute, sign a mutual recognition arrangement, whereby they will recognize each other's measurement. But for that, they also have to maintain equivalence. How this equivalence comes, we will go in the later on this thing. So here I have shown, for example, NPLI is NPL India, yellow one, and on the left and right are other countries like PTB is the Germany, NIM is from China, NIST is from USA, NPL is from NPL UK. We have the same name, that is why -I is with us. They became member earlier for the International Bureau of Weights and Measurement. So this is how we do intercomparisons, and we are treated as equivalent to each country. And within the country, then role of accredited labs comes that they get traceability from NMI, and then down the line, they are doing the calibrations. Ashutosh ji, jab bhi sir aayenge, so you can stop me and we will go for interaction with him.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so as I said, to recognize each other, there is a mutual recognition arrangement. This is called CIPM. This is actually PM stands for points at measure, which is weights and measure, and C stands for committee. So this is Committee Internationale Weights and Measure, and its office is BIPM, Bureau of International Weights and Measure, and they are in 1999. Actually, Meter Convention Treaty was 1875, and when it was to complete about 125 years, it was thought that let us now make a formal mutual arrangement and sign. So if I say 1999, don't think that the system is so new. So system was already completing 125 years international management system when this agreement was signed. So initially 37 members signed. Figures keep on changing, but the last I visited their website, it was there. It has been signed now by 106 institutes from various countries. So these are called 61 member states, 41 associates, and 4 international organizations. International organization, who will be there? Like for measurement, we have BIPM. Similarly, for legal metrology, International Organization for Legal Metrology. For accreditation, International Laboratory Accreditation Corporation, and for standards, ISO. So these are 4 international organizations which are actually bodies where our national 4 pillars become member. Okay, so this is the recognition arrangement. And what does it mean? That if we are partner of this MRA, then from India, whatever certificate we issue shall be accepted. But now listen carefully. Shall be accepted within the uncertainty band of our calibration measurement capability that we have declared to them. Okay. So, and that declaration goes on their website. So we are all equivalent within our claims. So somebody may be claiming lower uncertainty, that means higher accuracy. Some country like Bangladesh, Nepal, who are still at the developing stage, may be having lower than NPL India accuracy. Some may be having more. So that will be the case. So for quality infrastructure, as I explained, what I explained till now is that we have at top National Measurement Institute. Then second level is accredited laboratories. Even legal metrology laboratories are going for accreditation. Our regional laboratories, electronics, etc. are also going for accreditation. So they are all here in the second level. And the third level is internal calibration laboratories, companies, measurement instruments. So this is how we calibrate down the line. These organizations play a role. Within a country, one triangle will be taking care. Now, from one country to other country, I have already explained, we have intercomparison measurements. That means if it is say 10 centimeter scale, we both from NPL India and some other country will be measuring the same. It will be circulated, we will be measuring the same, and reports ultimately through various routes go up to International Weights and Measure Bureau website. So we have equivalent. Now, The question is, so our quality of measurement uncertainty is peer reviewed by other countries. Within the country, these accreditation laboratories are playing role. Who is seeing what are the measures like intercomparison to see how proficient they are in their calibration. One is accreditation, other is actual measurement part. There the PT plays an important role. Okay, so but before I go to that, I would like to say that whether we do PT, before that there is a requirement with that we should have a metrological traceability. So whatever on this tricycle I was explaining till now, that first NMI will measure and then accredited lab will send their instrument for them to measure. So this way it is a kind of chain which is not breaking. So here I would like to introduce a bit about definition of metrological traceability. So metrological traceability is a property of measurement result. See, please students and all those who are new, please note that it is the property of measurement result. Sometimes usually we say my instrument is traceable. Okay, but instrument for some range it may be traceable, for some range it may not be. So ultimately it is the property of result, not the instrument. Okay, it is the property of result whereby the result produced by this instrument can be related to a reference. So what is reference? Usually reference will be SI unit. If I am measuring length, SI unit is meter definition. If I am measuring say current, SI unit is ampere definition. So through a documented unbroken chain of calibrations. That means if you are in a school, you are using an instrument or in college, this instrument ideally should be calibrated by some laboratory, and that laboratory master instrument should be calibrated by some other accredited lab maybe, and then that accredited lab sends to maybe NPL India. So that's how chain is building. So it is related to a reference through a documented unbroken chain. That means you have calibrated, but this needs to be documented. And how it will be documented? By way of calibration certificates. And now the third keyword, that is each contributing to measurement uncertainty. So there are steps in chain. In each step, there will be a documentation, that is certificate, with the value and the uncertainty. Okay. And when we see the triangle, it is broad at the bottom. That means uncertainty and number both are increasing. Okay. So reference can be SI unit. Wherever it is not possible, their certified reference materials can be used. Okay. So if you visit NPL India, we have made these sample points as this pyramid, where the same triangle we have shown on this hand, where we are talking about organization, definition, then primary standard, secondary reference standard, secondary standard, working standard, measuring instrument, etc. So these accredited labs have a very important role after NMI. NMI is our international face and international custodian. But after that, accredited lab, if they do measurements honestly and trace it to NPL India, then our country cannot lag behind in economy. Why I say this is such an important role? Because now we are going for vocal for local. Okay, and this vocal for local cannot be without quality. Okay, so when we say vocal, I say vocal. That is, you have to maintain the quality first and then speak about it. That is built in there. Our Prime Minister and our all departments are working hard to see that our products are exported and accepted everywhere. So even in India, consumers are very aware. If quality is not there, they will go for imported ones. So for making our this self-reliance successful, we have to maintain the quality. And for that, we have to maintain the quality of testing and calibration. So proficiency testing is a very important mean for laboratories to test their proficiency. It should not be that it is by mandate of this standard, that is standard, that's okay. But one has to be not a follower of quality. I believe that we have to be believer of quality. So voluntarily we should go for this, that I want to check my capability. Okay, so here this proficiency testing plays an important role. We have talked a lot about accreditation. Now let us talk about what is accreditation. Okay, so even students, when they go for selecting a college, what they see, whether the institute is accredited, what is its rating. So what is accreditation actually? So accreditation by definition is a third party attestation related to a conformity assessment body. So let us first concentrate about third party attestation. What is meant by third party attestation? This means there is a laboratory. I want to get something tested by them. So laboratory is first party. I am the second party. This means every consumer has to go and check whether laboratory is good or not. Every student has to go to college, for example, and see whether college is good or not. But if you have accreditation, that you know that by rating and by accreditation, this college is good. Similarly, we know this laboratory is good. So that accreditation is third party. Neither the second party who is user, nor the first party who is providing. It is done by the third party. I call it sometimes that school is teaching, a student is studying, CBSE board is taking an exam. So it is third party attestation. Okay, I may be good. Even if I have not went any time to school, many people do self-learning. I may be good, but I don't have that certificate. Similarly, laboratory may be good, but if they go for accreditation, they have proven their capability. Everybody knows that they have been accredited. So what does it convey? It conveys formal demonstration of its competence to carry out a specific conformity assessment task. Okay, so here though two words more are coming. Number one is demonstration of competence, and for what? Conformity assessment task. So testing and calibration in a way are seeing whether this instrument is conforming. That means meeting the requirements that were claimed or that were given in standard. So laboratory testing calibration laboratory has also conformity assessment. Similarly, those who provide PT, they also make certain claim. Are they meeting that claim? They are also conformity assessment body. So since accreditation inspection body, where they are doing inspection of clothes, etc., they are also conforming to certain specification. So instead of laboratory, here we are saying conformity assessment body to cover a whole gamut of these activities: inspection, certification body, or testing calibration laboratory, or PT provider, or reference material provider. So third party attestation related to a conformity assessment body conveying formal demonstration of its competence to carry out that task. I think I have explained enough all the keywords in this. So that is the accreditation. So now we go to the inter-laboratory comparisons definition. So it is like you can see that in college, suppose I am doing an experiment where I am doing testing of certain piece, or I am doing just hybrid parameters of semiconductor. So suppose the same artifact goes to different colleges, whether you have measured correct, then this cooking of data will not be happening. Sometimes we do Ohm's law, points we put, and in a college, what is happening if my straight line is not coming, I just fit the points and do. But suppose the same thing was given to you for measurement of resistance for Ohm's law in your college, and I set the same resistance to all the colleges, then wrong results will be caught, because even your teacher will not be knowing what is the value of this resistance. Okay, so this is the kind of inter-laboratory comparison. That means we are sending the specific piece whose value is not known to everyone, and it goes, everyone measures it, and then we analyze the results, how much difference they have observed. Okay, so inter-laboratory comparisons, and PT provider is an organization that who is performing evaluation of test or some test. Two or more laboratories are doing that, and then it is done with a predetermined condition. This is the definition by ISO IEC 17043. Don't worry if you don't still get it, because throughout the talk, inter-laboratory comparisons will be talked about. But you just remember, this is the comparison between two or more laboratories. More the merrier, because statistically, 2 will have no statistical validity as good as 10, and 10 will have not as good as 15. So more the merrier kind of situation is there. Okay, so inter-laboratory comparison, why they are done? What is the purpose of inter-laboratory comparison? Number one, as I said, it is evaluation of performance of laboratory or competence of a laboratory to do a specific task. These two or more laboratories who are participating, we want to evaluate about their competence and their performance. Okay. Then if they fail, what will it give them? It will identify the problems in the laboratory. Okay. And it will also identify what are interlab differences. Okay. And this gives them a chance to educate themselves and to find out flaws and improvement. So purpose of interlaboratory comparison is evaluating performance and identification of a problem. And by way of solving these problems and becoming equivalent, they are establishing effectiveness and comparability of test and measurement methods. Okay. So this is the purpose. Then further purpose are that if you have passed the PT, then it gives additional confidence to the customer. This is on the commercial side also or the reputation side. Okay, interlaboratory differences and education will come. Then there are some more purpose. Like each laboratory says, I can measure within this uncertainty. I can measure 5 centimeter within minus 0.01 centimeter maybe. But they are saying that is this claim of uncertainty valid? So validation of claim of uncertainty will be done. Okay, so these are main part. So far I have used the word interlaboratory comparison. I will come to proficiency testing, but all these tasks can be done by proficiency testing tools. But there are some more tasks. There are, suppose I am developing a new method. You have developed a new method in science. You want to validate that method. Then what you will do, interlaboratory comparison with the well-established method for this new method. So that means it will be evaluation of your method, validation of method. Okay. Similarly, you have developed a reference material and now you want to assign a value to it. Then again, this interlaboratory comparison can come into picture. And in international intercomparisons, NMI's claim, as I said, NPL India has certain claim of uncertainty that has to be used for equivalence of measurement by way of intercomparison. And we call it KCSC, you will not understand, key comparison and supplementary comparison. That's a terminology we use. Actually, metrologists use a lot of short forms and unknowingly sometimes we forget to fill the full form. Okay. So, for international intercomparisons, which NMI participates, the purpose is to establish degree of equivalence between National Measurement Institute and to provide validity or mutual recognition claims. Okay, because otherwise without this, other countries will not recognize my capability or that nation's capability. When I say my, it means India's capability. It's not my Reena Sharma or NPL. When NPL gets a CMC, it is national flagship that they have got that. So thereby governments and the other party have more confident and agreements can be reached in commerce and the regulatory affairs. Okay. So now we come to proficiency. By definition, proficiency says evaluation of participants' performance according to a pre-established criteria by means of inter-laboratory comparison. So that means proficiency testing also requires inter-laboratory comparison. Sometimes people ask me what is the difference between inter-laboratory comparison and proficiency testing. So proficiency testing cannot happen without inter-laboratory comparison. The artifact is going from lab to lab, we are comparing. So it is an inter-laboratory comparison. But here the purpose is to test the proficiency of the participants. That means to evaluate their performance. So in purpose the difference is there, but it is an inter-laboratory comparison. Okay. So PT divides, now I will be using the word PT. So PT can be used to provide independent demonstration of laboratory competence. Okay. So it is giving us independent demonstration. And this PT provider also now. Why should lab have confidence in that PT providing by ABC company is better than XYZ company? Why? They will also have a accreditation. And for their accreditation, we use standard ISO IEC 17043. So this is the standard according to which an accreditation body will accredit this PT provider also. So lab is accredited as per 17025. PT provider is accredited as per 17043. Okay, so you can say this is the syllabus for passing that exam. Okay, for 10th you have different syllabus, for 11th you have different syllabus. Even in 11th, if you are from arts, you have different syllabus. From commerce, you have different syllabus. So like this, both are related to same level, but For one laboratory, we have ISO 17025, and for PTP, we have ISO 17043. So since I have introduced standard, now I will go for the standard wording where PT is required for laboratory accreditation. So clause 7.7 of ISO IEC 17025 is actually ISO IEC 17025 is the standard criteria for judging the competence of laboratory. So there one requirement is that how to ensure validity of tests or calibration result. So for there it talks about in 7.7.2 that laboratory shall monitor. So it's, see, who is monitoring? Laboratory shall monitor its performance by comparing the results with other laboratories where available, and appropriate monitoring shall be planned by way of a participation in proficiency testing, participation in interlaboratory comparison other than proficiency testing. So one is for the purpose of proficiency testing, other intercomparisons also they can participate, and then these results can be used by the accreditation bodies when they go to accredit this. So to get accredited, you need this. But you see, actually, this is not only about the requirement. Like to pass, we need to know certain question answer. But for our knowledge, we need to read a lot more. So laboratory, it wants to improve its performance. So it wants to go, even if it is applying for accreditation or not, it should go for proficiency testing. That is the way whereby you can compare. Okay, so definition, as you know, we are evaluating performance against pre-establishing criteria. So now we have talked about purposes of the intercomparison. So from there, few earlier purposes are the same as for proficiency testing, because it is also a intercomparison. So evaluation of performance is our first purpose. Somebody evaluates my performance, I get degree. I evaluate myself, I get their degree of confidence. So, and customers get greater confidence when I show them the result. Number 3, identification of interlaboratory differences. What is the difference between various laboratories measuring the same thing, or various methods measuring the same thing? What is the difference? What will be the claim? And validation of my uncertainty claim, whether my uncertainty is appropriate or not. How this comes, I will go for statistics, you will understand. But right now, just understand that there is validation of uncertainty claim. Okay, and by doing all this, we establish an effectiveness and comparability of my measurements. These are purposes of the PT. So my B is very happy to see that the results have been validated by a certain results. Okay, so it's like a honeybee goes on picking honey from to the flowers to pick the essence. Similarly, a PT gets its essence from the measurement by way of evaluation of results. Okay, so this is just in a bigger view. If you want to assimilate it, how we get confidence through the validation of uncertainty claims, establish effectiveness and comparability of our results. It's like a degree, and which gives confidence to everybody. Okay, just assimilate it. What is the purpose of PT? Okay, if you have water nearby, take a sip so that you remain alive and attentive. Sometimes in online classes, it becomes monotonous and then you feel like sleeping or something. So my way to do it, I advise that sip water, have chewing gum, have coffee, etc. nearby so that you remain attentive. Okay, so now I go to the standard for PT provider. This is how PT should be organized, what should be the requirements. It is a very big standard. It is ISO. IS stands for Indian Standards. ISO, International Standards Organization. IEC, International Electrotechnical Commission. 17043-2010. So this is conformity assessment general requirements for proficiency testing. Okay. So general requirements of PT, it is saying. So these standards apply to those areas of PT which are important. For example, management, how to manage a PT program, like quality management system, like 9000 you have for the organization. Similarly, for PT provider, what management system, how should be there, how they should be applied. Then comes to specific to PT, how to plan a PT, how to make a design of PT, because here you have to do statistical design, etc., confidentiality, impartiality, etc. Then personnel are the key to anything. In family, you are the key to your parents and your grandparents. Similarly, in a measurement industry, the personnel who are there, they have to be competent. They should take care of metrology community. They should go for a bigger cause of assuring quality. So all these aspects are dealt in ISO IEC 17043. When we are at home, who tells us how to behave? How to, when my elders come, I have to touch feet. So these are also sort of Indian culture SOPs. Okay. In some other country, touching feet may not be there. It may be shaking hand. But in our country, this is an SOP which our parents tell right from very beginning. If somebody is coming, touch the feet. For elders, we will not be taking name, auntie, uncle, chacha, mama, whatever. This is another SOP. So this is quality of that family, what we call it sanskar. Similarly, in a measurement industry, that sanskar of honesty of measurement, meeting the accuracy of measurement, meeting the SOPs standards is very important. So all that this standard tells us. Okay. So this international standard has been prepared to provide a consistent basis for all interested parties. Now, who will be interested parties? Maybe accreditation body who is coming to accredit me. Maybe my clients who are taking PT from me. Maybe my laboratory itself who wants to judge its competence. So all interested parties who want to determine competence, they can go by this consistent basis and check whether all this is followed rightly. So this is given as ISO IEC 17043. Initially, when this standard was not there was a guide 43, ISO IEC guide 43. Came out in 1997, and this guide now has been adopted as a standard by all nations by way of ISO IEC 17043. So it replaces now the guide. Guide is no more valid. Guide is withdrawn, and now this standard is there. So guide, what guide had? Guide had guidance. This has requirement. When something becomes a standard, it is a requirement, then you have to do. So it also guided about selection and use of proficiency testing by laboratory accreditation bodies. Useful description of typical types of proficiency testing. Guide had that, and now standard has preserved the principles of operation of proficiency testing as described in guide, and also it has retained some annexes A to C, which are not requirement but informative annexes on how to select a PT, how to design a PT, how to go for statistical. So in a way, it is retaining that. But the standard nowadays, this is the fad within international committee that the structure of all the standards should be same. So structure of this standard is also same, that is technical clause and also the management clause. Okay. So this is about the guide. I don't know, my slide is not moving. I will go. I think it's hanged.
No, ma'am, now it is not.
Yeah, now slide is not moving. Yeah, now it is moved. Okay.
Now it is moving. No?
Now it's moving. Yeah, it was just taking a breath, I think, as my audience will also be taking a breath. No. So sometimes such kind of thing gives us an opportunity to laugh. Anyway, never miss the opportunity.
Ma'am, I think your mic is somewhat far away.
I am on the laptop. I will
Okay.
try to be more closer now. Is it okay
Yeah.
now?
Please, now it is okay.
Okay, so I will maintain this distance. I'm sorry,
Please, ma'am.
you should have mentioned earlier itself. Okay,
Thank
somebody has raised hand. Pankaj Desai has raised hand. Pankaj, you can put the question in chat box. I think that is the format they follow. Vigneshwar and Palani has also raised hand.
Yes, ma'am. Few persons have these questions.
Yeah, instead of raising hand, you write your questions in the chat box. That is the format given by the organizers.
Some of the questions can we take now?
Yeah,
Okay, ma'am. The first question is, okay, he is asking the certificate of the last program. Actually, since last two programs, certificates are pending, and we will issue maybe within a day or two all the certificates which are pending. So don't worry with this certificate also. The next, ma'am, one small request is some of the participants are requesting for the presentation. My request is as soon as your after the completion of this presentation, if you kindly share your presentation to me, we will share it on the website as well as with the lecture with the certificate. We will share this presentation to all participants.
या आशुतोष जी आप एक लिंक भी डाल दीजिए इसमें चैट बॉक्स में जिस वेबसाइट पे सारे प्रेजेंटेशंस अवेलेबल होंगे सो दैट
हाँ, वही कर रहा हूँ मैम, वही कर रहा हूँ।
हम संतोष को रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे कि लेट हिम पुट द लिंक so that we
Yes.
also know it will be there and audience also will know that.
Ma'am, what we are planning, all the lectures, all these presentations will be available on our department website, as well as these videos will be on the YouTube. Our YouTube channel is there. We will place all these videos on the YouTube channel so that the participants can hear at any point of time whenever they want. Ma'am, one another question is, what is the year of publication for ISO 17025 and ISO 17011? I think 17025 was 2017.
Yeah.
And 17011 was 2012.
So first it was published in 99, then 2005 it was revised, then
Yes.
recently it has been revised again. So this is
Yes.
the third edition. Okay.
Yes.
So this
Yes,
is the
ma'am.
third edition.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And is there another question? Yes, I just check, ma'am. Once again. Thank you, ma'am. These are the only two questions. I would like to request you to kindly continue.
Okay.
And if in between Dishisa would like to say something, because in the beginning we could not hear Dikshit sir.
Actually, the program
Sir.
is going on. The program is going on, and madam is giving the very good presentations. So at present, it should be continued till her presentation is over.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Please,
sir.
ma'am, continue.
We miss you a lot. You used to come to NPL quite often. We have not seen you for long. It should take some time. Okay, sir. So let's go ahead. So now we are on the standard and let us go for what is the 17043 latest edition talking about. So those who know about standards these days, uniformly 17025, 9000, etc. have various sections. That is, technical requirements are in section 4 and management requirements in section 5. Okay, and section 3 is always for terms and definition. And in section 2 and 1 is basically introductory, what is the scope of a standard and what are the references. So what I would be doing, as we are not covering the whole standard, I will be taking some very important clauses from the technical point of view, which will give you a flavor. And then, of course, we can self-educate or we can go for other courses also. This is just an introduction. Okay. And besides this, as I said, besides the 5 main requirement clauses, it has 3 annexes. So 3 annexes, one is for what are the types of proficiency testing schemes. Okay. Second is about statistical methods of proficiency testing, and annex C is use of proficiency testing. So when we read a standards, usually we go first reading the clauses and then going for annexer. But for a completely new person, I would say first read the statistical methods and types of proficiency schemes. If you have this basic knowledge information, then go for reading the standard, then it will be giving you better knowledge. Okay, because statistical methods is the heart of this proficiency testing providers or PPT programs. Okay, so that is the thing. Okay, so technical requirements, I'll just give you what are the clauses in technical requirements and what are the clauses in management requirements. So in technical requirements, what is important for maintaining the quality of result? First of all, instrument which are used. So that is there. Okay. So at 4.3, then first you have acquired the instrument, but to operate at that and what instrument to decide, there should be some knowledgeable personnel, or knowledge, we say it knowledge, skill and competence. Okay, knowledge is one thing, you may have a degree, but you may not have a skill to measure. So that is the skill. And third is competence, that you can do it very proficiently. So 4.2 covers the personnel. Then both are there. Now you have to start PT. So first of all, you have to design the PT. So while designing PT, PT design is in 4.4, how to design a PT. Then while designing PT, you will decide whether participant can use choice of their method or only standard method, or only you want to specify some method. So 4.5 deals with the method. Then 4.6 is how to operate the whole proficiency testing. Okay. Then 4.7, crux of it, when you have got participants' results, how do you do data analysis? So that is 4.7 clause. And then after you have done analysis, ultimately you are going to publish report. So this report, how it should be structured, what should be there in the report, that is 4.8. Then while doing all this, right from the announcement of PT, telling the PT participants what they have to do, what is eligibility criteria, all that communication is how to do and what to tell, what should all minimum will be told is in 4.9. This is communication with the participant. And 4.9 is very important clause, that is confidentiality. Because labs may say my name should not be published, because otherwise they are not interested to participate to information. Okay. So confidentiality is very important here. So this is that by 4.10. So in the technical clauses, you see it covers all that is technically important. Then comes about management. First I will go to management, then I will talk about it. So section 5 deals with the management clause. So management system. What will be the management system? What will be the documentation? How it will be implemented? Whose responsibility is what? All that is in 5.2. So 5.1 is about the organization and 5.2 is management system. Then since in quality management system, lot of documents are there. How to control them? How to remove obsolete document? How to give a number to the next document? Who will authorize the document? All that becomes part of 5.3, document control. 5.4 is when anybody is requesting you that I want to be participant and you are telling them that, okay, this is our agreement. Okay. So this is review of requests, tenders and contracts. How to go about it? Basically, it avoids misinterpretation, and also by rightly following it, you can avoid disputes later on. So review of requests, tenders and contracts, standard have certain requirements that are there. Then if any of these activities are to be subcontracted, that will be in subcontracting services. And it also says that a PT organizer will never subcontract PT plan. Okay. Then purchasing services and supply, how to evaluate vendors and all, and service to customer are 5.6 and 5.7. And naturally, you are giving a decision that your proficiency is within this much band. There may be disagreements, so there may be complaints and appeal. So 5.8 tells about complaints and appeal. Now 5.9 is control of non-conforming work. 5.10 opportunities for improvement. It is dealing with that. 5.11 is about corrective actions. Okay. Then 5.12 is preventive action. 5.13 control of records. 5.14 internal audits. You are doing yourself checking everything have you done right. That is internal audit. And 5.15 is management reviews, how things are going on. So here 5.11 and 5.12, corrective and preventive. What is the difference? So corrective is something has gone wrong, which we call as non-compliance or after that you are getting corrective measures. For example, tomorrow if I get some heart disease and after that I take a corrective measure because doctor has told I am doing walks, etc. and food management of mine That is corrective measure. But till today, I'm healthy. I'm not, and that is the truth. I may look fat, but I'm healthy. I'm having no BP, no sugar, and no heart disease so far because I'm controlling my diet and I'm controlling my walks, etc. So this is preventive action. Nothing has gone wrong, but I'm preventing myself that something should not go wrong. So this is difference between corrective and preventive action. So these are clause 5 and clause 4, that is management and proficiency testing schemes. Okay. So 4.61 operation of proficiency testing schemes says instruction to the participants. Okay, what you will be doing, how will you operate? You right now from the beginning after design, you will start from the announcement that we are going to hold a PT. If you want to participate, you come here, participate, and then we will giving some instruction what you have to do. So that is part of proficiency testing scheme operation. Okay, and then it is very important because 10 laboratories have confidence in you that till the end when they have participated, they will get report. So how to handle this item? If this item gets lost in between, what are the measures to be taken? This should be known. Okay. And if it is item is gone bad, whose responsibility will be there? Because it is not only affect other laboratories who cannot participate, but those who invested time and money to do the measurements, their measurement will also be without any report. So 4.62 is very important clause, handling and storage of PT item. And similar is packaging, labeling and distribution of test item. So that's why I chose 4.6 to tell you, because you should know what is PT. In PT, we are doing sending one artifact or one item sample for everybody. We package it, label it, and give instruction how to handle and storage it, how to do measurement. It goes to everybody. Results come to us and we analyze that. Okay, so operation of proficiency testing is very important clause. And at before we announce the PT, we should be doing design of proficiency testing scheme. Okay, so design is what we have to design and tell everybody. One is planning, how we will be about it. Do we have resources? Is this kind of measurement needed? Consent, this characteristics is needed. Second is preparation of proficiency testing item. How to prepare proficiency testing item? Do we have to prepare ourselves, or does the measurement method require that from bigger a piece, we will give a bigger piece and the sample preparation will also be done at the client end who is participant to cut certain smaller piece from that and then measure on that. So that will be preparation. Then homogeneity and stability. So when I go to various types of artifact, I will explain more. But stability, I will mention here, is very important because this item is going to go to 10 laboratories and come back to us. So item should be, its characteristics should not be likely to change within the period of PT. So that is very important task. Then comes the statistical design. It is a statistical design for evaluating homogeneity, stability, and also for evaluating participants' performance. So what is my statistical design? What formulas I am going to use? How I am going to do the statistical analysis? That should be planned beforehand, and it becomes a part of protocol that we communicate to the participant. Then if we are assigning a value, the assigned value is also by 4.4.5. So 4.4 is again the technical heart of the PT. So that's why I chose these clause out of these OR clauses to tell you a little bit, because 4.5 will be by the standard. Method is also very important, but that will be by the standard for that item, or if it is a new method, they will tell. So 4.4 and 4.6 I have told, and 4.7 data analysis. For that, in the end, I will be telling the formulas used, etc. for this thing, data analysis. Okay, so this we have discussed. So now I will go for certain, before I go for data analysis, it's my duty to tell certain definitions that will be taking part there. So first and foremost is, what is reference value? Because I said we will be seeing differences between the labs. So we can see the differences between the labs, but ultimately we have to decide a reference value from which we will be seeing how much away everyone is. So this reference value, generally accepted by all, should be having small should be suitable, and small measurement uncertainty should be there, and it will be the basis for comparing the values of each laboratory or each participant for the same kind of quantity with this value. So this is the definition of reference value. Okay, reference quantity value with associated management uncertainty is usually referred to a material. For example, a certified reference material will be there. For example, it may be a certified reference material for water in arsenic content or whatever content we are seeing. It can be a laser whose frequency we are measuring. It can be a measurement procedure. So whatever is the material distributed, for that we have a reference value, and usually some small uncertainty associated with this. So reference value, there are many methods. I am just highlighting two main differences. One is from a reference lab. We call it either from NMI or some expert lab. It can be from one expert lab or it can be average of few expert lab. So this is the reference lab case. Okay. So that is advantage is that since we know, suppose I took reference lab as NMI, I have this value. I can get feedback to each participants that you are wrong or right immediately after their results come. Okay, but chance is that if it is a good, suppose I took one accredited lab as a reference, even good reliable reference lab can make a mistake sometimes. So this may be, everything has a risk associated. We have to mitigate the risk while choosing this reference lab. Okay, for consensus value, consensus means we agree on something. So consensus value is to be agreed by all. What is the method that will be told in the protocol? Okay, so it can be in international comparison, all are NMI, so this can be taken average of all because all are NMI at the same level. Or it can be said that okay, few NMIs or few laboratories are participating whose uncertainty is very large. We will not take from them, we will take from some expert NMI also, or from some expert laboratory or some expert organization only. So this is consensus value. Everybody is agreeing that. This is also used actually in assigning a value in case of reference material. Okay, because that purpose also I told in between. So unrelated laboratories, risk is smaller, but when doing within a nation, risk may be that they are not perfectly traceable or people are not competent enough. So that risks are to be mitigated while decided for the consensus value. And the third risk is if number of participants is low, it may not be statistical valid design. So consensus value has to be taken care of for these things. So for everything, so then there has to be some coordinator who will be sending the sample, who will be taking care of all the requirements of standards are met while item is in circulation for this thing. So the coordinator is either one individual or more individual, group of individuals with responsibility for organizing and managing all of the activities involved. And participant is all the organizations that are receiving the proficiency test item and are going to submit their results for review by the PT provider or the coordinator. So participant and coordinator will be used. This is a very important definition, outlier. Okay. So what is an outlier? It is an observation that appears to be inconsistent with the remainder of test. For example, I was doing length measurement maybe. All the laboratories are agreeing within 2 micrometer, but somebody is there who is far away from this range. So this can be outlier. So we say it in the beginning, the word is that appears to be inconsistent. Why? Because it is right now appearing so, but then we will do a statistical analysis whether it is an outlier or not. So then we will be, after confirming that this is an outlier, we will be taking measures to remove an outlier if it is a consistent value or consensus value, etc. Okay, outlier can be there. Okay, so outlier and extreme results, outlier and other values which are grossly inconsistent, other members of data set, they are called extreme results. So outlier is also an extreme result, but extreme result definition is there. Robust statistical technique. So robust means what? We say this instrument is robust. It can tolerate environmental conditions. Similarly, statistical techniques is robust. The influences of extreme results can be minimized. For example, if we are taking an average or mean. Then if one value is extreme, it will affect mean. But if we are taking median, effect will not be that much. So depending on my data set, I have to choose a robust statistical technique. Okay. So now I will go for showing you what is A, that is type. And exam A in standards talk about types of testing. So broadly, it is A2 and A3 is giving the definition. Sequential participation schemes. And third is simultaneous participation scheme. So from beginning, whatever examples I was giving were from sequential participation. Suppose Ashutosh ji is organizing for his legal metrology labs. What he does, he asked me, Madam, we have to send the same length artifact or same mass artifact to all the labs. We will decide a plan depending on location and all. So it will be going in sequence to everybody. So now, if he has, say, chosen 40 labs, it will be taking time to go. So there can be other way, which is used mostly in chemical PT, that simultaneously we send sample to all, or to a group of 10, group of 10, group of 10. So these are simultaneous participation schemes. So this can be again different split level design, where it is the split samples are used with almost similar level but not the same level. A split sample is where a big batch, say 1 liter is prepared, and then from that 10 ml, 10 ml or whatever is required for test is split and given to everybody. So in split sample design testing schemes, homogeneity is very important. How we sample is very important, because everybody should get an equivalent sample. In sequential participation scheme, the same item is going in calibration. So homogeneity will not be there, but it is taking time to return. So stability is important. Similarly, in a split sample testing scheme also, stability is important. It is said done by the PT provider. Because if it is not a stable sample, then every participant will suffer. Ultimately, PT results will not be having any validity. Then there are partial process scheme. Here is what that from what is a testing requires. Suppose it is requiring a sample, it is requiring measurement, it is requiring data analysis. So three parts are there. But we are not now doing proficiency for all the parts. We are doing only for data analysis or only for sample. Then we will call it partial process scheme. So in simultaneous scheme, we are further dividing. So these are there. External quality assurance program, I'm just now not talking about. Okay. So these PTs, why these are needed? Because confidence is essential for who wants the confidence in results of laboratories. As I said, accreditation bodies, etc. Clients of their laboratories, and they themselves, first of all, their management may also ask. Okay. And for accreditation bodies also it is compulsory, because they are required by ISO IEC 17011. And then account of laboratories participation in performance in proficiency testing has to be kept on the long term also. Okay. So this is the part for proficiency testing. I think this is somehow repeated. Okay. Now we go for further terms and definition. Some more which are important. Assigned value we didn't talk about. So assigned value is value attributed to a particular property of proficiency test results. Coordinator we have already talked about. Customer, everybody knows, I need not talk about. And inter-laboratory comparison, I have already talked about. But to give formal definition, I would just read it. Organization, performance, and evaluation measurements or tests on the same or similar item. I'll take a pause. Please assimilate. It is on the same or similar items by two or more laboratories in accordance with the predetermined conditions. Okay. Outlier, we have already talked about. Participants, you know that who will be participating, that will be there. Now for a scheme, there could be other kind of, I already said sequential schemes and simultaneous. But similarly, it can be quantitative measurement scheme or the qualitative measurement scheme. Okay. So in sequential, I told you that one or more proficiency test items are distributed simultaneously to all. In sequential, it is in sequence. Okay. So there can be single occasion exercise, or there can be continuous scheme which will be repeated say every year or every 3 months depending on the requirements. Okay, sampling wherever there is sample to be taken from a bigger lot for subsequent analysis. Data transformation and interpretation is very important. All of us in measurement know that we need to have data or other information furnished in a particular interpretation. Okay, so I had mentioned what is external quality assessment. This is more used in case of medical area. Okay, and they are getting assessed by the external quality assessment activities. Their requirements are much more stringent. In some cases per month or per quarterly they are participating in PT, whereas in our calibration etc. There are different benchmarks which are in number of years. Okay, so proficiency test item. Now this is the important part on which everybody is going to perform the conformity assessment activity, be it test, calibration, etc. So what is a proficiency testing item? It can be sample, product, artifact, reference material, piece of equipment, measurement standard. So far you understood. But mind it, it can be a data set also. Because we are doing partial process scheme. We want your software to be checked, and then we can send a soft data set to be analyzed. So this can be a data set also, which can be a proficiency test item. Okay. So proficiency testing provider and testing round. So round is one proficiency sequence of distribution and evaluating that completes the round till the report issue. Okay. Right from distribution to report issue, one round will be there. Okay. So scheme is what it is designed and operated in one or more rounds for a specified area of testing, measurement, calibration, and inspection. The scheme might cover particular type of test, calibration, inspection, number of tests, etc. Robust statistical method, I already said, where underlying assumptions surrounding an underlying probabilistic model are such that there are it is insensitive to small departures from these assumption and probabilistic model. So that is there. Initially, I was not giving formal definition. What I said was robust statistical method, if we are using, it minimizes the influence of extreme results. Okay. The same thing formally is method insensitive to small departures from underlying assumptions surrounding an underlying probabilistic model. When I'm mentioning a clause number, it is as such from the standard and taken for the purpose of training only, because otherwise standard is protected for copyright. Okay. But wherever I'm not giving a clause number, it may be my interpretation. Okay. So 3.13 is standard deviation of proficiency assessment. This characterizes dispersion used in evaluation of results of proficiency testing. Dispersion, because we are not English speaking, it is spread. So for example, 5 centimeter we are measuring, we are getting from 4.95 to 5.05. Okay, so this is dispersion. Okay, so this is characterized by standard deviation of proficiency assessment. Standard deviation applies only to the ratio of differential scale. Not all proficiency testing schemes evaluate proficiency based on dispersion of results. Okay. So subcontractor, everybody knows if we are subcontracting any activity, the person who is doing that will be subcontractor. Now again, we go to metrological traceability. I already showed you the triangle wherein we are from the, here I am showing in the circles, where from SI unit definition, we go to primary standard, then reference standard, working standards, measurement standards, and then by a series of unbroken chain of calibration, each contributing measurement uncertainty, we say that it becomes the property of result whereby the result can be compared to a related reference through unbroken chain of calibration, each contributing to uncertainty. So this reference is usually definition of unit, okay, or the certified reference material. We have talked a lot about measurement uncertainty. We assume that participants are accredited laboratories, etc. But even in college students, no uncertainty is what? It is in English meaning if how much uncertain I am about what I am saying. If I say I will reach in 10 minutes, will I reach in 10 minutes? I may reach in 10 plus minus 2 minutes. So this is general talk, but in case of calibration and testing, there are formal ways of calculating uncertainty in measurement. Okay, so it is a non-negative parameter characterizing dispersion of quantity values being attributed to measurand. Measurand is whatever is subject to measurement. Okay, with the information used. Okay, and this dispersed parameter could be, for example, a standard deviation or a standard uncertainty calculated from a prior distribution or a combined standard uncertainty which is to be expanded later on. So measurement uncertainty in itself is a big topic. I hope one of the classes have covered that. So in crux, I am summarizing now. In PT, what we do, we have many participants and we have a assigned value, which I defined already, how to take that. So from each participant, how much is the difference and performance score we are assessing. Now, how to derive this performance score? This is the part of statistics. Okay, so we will go for performance score, but before that, we remember again that we have two types of proficiency testing scheme, sequential and simultaneous. Sequential, I said the same item is going from one lab. Before going, you will determine assigned value and its uncertainty, then have participant after measurement to return it or send next participant. Then you review the participant's result and then you analyze how the results are happening and then you issue a report. So this is sequential. In simultaneous, you first procure test item, then you split it and determine assigned value and acceptability criteria for homogeneity and stability. Then you distribute to different participants. Again, they will be sending you result. You compare their results and decide acceptable range and issue advisory comments, etc. also in your reports besides the performance score. So in simultaneous scheme, on here I am showing on the this thing which I already told, there can be partial process scheme, there can be split sample schemes, etc. Okay, so now depending on this, in each I am saying this ends round ends with a report, and in report we give the performance score. So what is the statistical methods that is given in annexure B of the standard? I will take only few methods here because I don't want to give information overload in one go. So for scores, initial performance and monitoring performance over time, these scores can be used. And if there are many items sent, then there can be combined score also. So for this, I will just take few scores which can be performance statistics. And this is in annexure B, part 3, 311 is telling you what statistical methods to use. It says it may range from very simple methods to very complex statistical transformation. So it can be as simple as you are just calculating the difference from the reference value. D is equal to participant's value small x minus capital X is the assigned value. You are just giving them how much away from this you are. That can be as simple as this. Or it can be little more complex. You are saying, okay, the same thing you are converting to percentage by dividing it with the assigned value and multiplying it by the 100. So this is your percent difference. Okay. So this can be as simple as that. And then it can go to further. This is called EN value, that is normalized error ratio. Okay. This is normalized error ratio, which is here. And here, what is it saying actually? The upper part, numerator, is the first thing, that is difference of participation value, participant's value from the, or deviation of the participant value from the assigned value. Now, to have it meaningful and to validate your uncertainty claim, on the denominator is actually, if we were having this difference, what will be the uncertainty of this difference? So this will be U lab. Mind it, here I am using capital U. Capital U stands for expanded uncertainty. That means there is a coverage factor. If there was certain standard uncertainty, it is multiplied by a coverage factor, usually 2 or for 95% confidence level. So that is the expanded uncertainty reported by the lab. And UM is the standard expanded uncertainty of this assigned value. Both are squares and then square root is taken. So this is actually seeing if En is 1, that means your difference is within the uncertainty claim of this whole difference. So then it is satisfactory. Okay. If you get greater than or less, if it is outside plus minus 1, okay, if it is outside plus minus 1 range, both sides it is unsatisfactory. Okay, so 0 to 1 is okay, but minus 1 to 0 is not okay, and also this will not be greater than minus 1 is also not okay, greater than plus 1 is also not okay. So some other scores are Z score. Here you see what is there in testing. Sometimes each may not be reporting uncertainty or evaluating. So then you can have a Z score, which is value of the lab reported by the lab minus average. Average is actually assigned value. It may not be average. I should have used the assigned value divided by the deviation of standard deviation of the PT, STPT. So यहाँ पे actually there is a correction. I will correct in the notes. I wanted to put here downward different notation, that is instead of S population, sigma PT, to align it with the standard, because standard uses sigma PT, that is standard deviation of proficiency testing. So standard deviation of proficiency testing can be calculated from following ways. One is, it is we decided predetermined that this much is by the expert judgment, that this much is standard deviation of proficiency testing allowed. This is a prescribed value. So I must be a expert judgment. Or from previous proficiency testing rounds, I have gained knowledge. I can use that as sigma PT. Or an estimate from a statistical model. Or if the method prescribes in standard certain standard deviation allowed, that can be taken. Okay, or results of precision experiments, that also you can take. That means precision is repeatability and reproducibility results. Okay, participants results, robust standard deviation based on various results we calculate. There is an algorithm A, etc. for that. That is another method. Okay, so here is, I have already said, this is exactly from the standard copy. There I have typed. So there can be sometimes typing mistakes. So I have repeated from the standard also. X minus X, U lab square, U ref square. Okay. So Z square here. Okay. So here, yeah, that's right. I have corrected here. X minus X capital divided by sigma PT. This is the correct one. Z score. Correct was that also, but it is just a notation difference. There I was using S, here I am using sigma because standard use is sigma. Okay, so Z score and En score. What is the difference? Acceptable En score is plus minus 1. Acceptable Z score is plus minus within plus minus 2. Beyond 2, it is questionable, and beyond 3, it is unsatisfactory. Why this difference? Because if you remember, in En we take expanded uncertainty, which has already been multiplied by 2. So in denominator there is already 2. So there it is acceptable 1. Here it is standard uncertainty or standard deviation, and that is why plus minus 2 is the range. There is one more thing, Z score, and there is one more thing, that is Z prime. I will not cover, that is slightly different. Then I will go to zeta score. Zeta score, here you are assuming certain standard deviation of PT and using that, or you have calculated for the whole PT. Suppose in Z score, some lab has got unsatisfactory. They want to do further analysis. So what they will do, they can use zeta score and they can have their own uncertainty calculated. And then from the uncertainty budget, I think again it stopped, it's not moving. Now it's moving. From uncertainty budget, it will be seeing that which component in my uncertainty is missing and why I am getting zeta score also unsatisfactory. So Z score and zeta score are very similar. Only difference is the denominator. In Z score, we were using standard deviation of the PT. Here, like EN ratio, we are using standard deviation of uh, uncertainty of each participant and uncertainty for uh, reference value. But see here, the difference is EN ratio has capital U, that is expanded uncertainty. Here, I have mentioned in blue, it is standard uncertainty. So, how much is the difference? If we are talking of 95.45 confidence level, then capital U is actually small u multiplied by 2, approximately 2. Okay, so here that difference is there, and that is why again for zeta score we have acceptable range as plus minus 2. If it is beyond 2, we need to question ourselves, or this is a questionable result, we need to do the analysis if there was some component that was missing in my uncertainty. Was my traceability not okay? Why was my environmental condition not okay? Was my personal was not confident? So these analysis we should do, and we should do corrective measures to meet the requirements. And these requirements will later on lead me to the accuracy of my results within the claim of my uncertainty. Suppose I was running an national intercomparison. I calculated EN ratio. Okay, I was pilot for that. I means NPL India was pilot for that. Some nation got EN ratio greater than 1. They did their analysis and later on they reported to us, okay, I have done a mistake that for all the values I have quoted the same uncertainty value. Some length dependent parameter is missed in my uncertainty value. So we cannot later on inform them that okay, now your EN ratio is right. That we cannot do as a PT provider or as international intercomparison coordinator. It is my duty that they reported this much and that got EN ratio 1. But as a corrective measures, they will submit it to the peers who are coming for peer review or accreditation or their own management, that okay, we failed because of this mistake. Now we have done it right, and now we will take corrective measure by participating in another round and proving our capability again by right claim. So that is the purpose of PT. I again and again say no organization should punish anybody for failing in PT, because then failure of failing, they will put uncertainty not justified but large. That is not the right thing. It should be justified uncertainty. If we are failing, the only response is that we have to take corrective measures, which is for the good health of measurement. Okay, rather than telling a lie or telling different, it is PT is not to punish anyone. It is not punish testing. It is proficiency testing and then leading a laboratory to be more and more proficient. So proficiency is something that can be proven by getting EN score less than 1 or Z score or zeta score within range of plus minus 2. So this is the crux I have done. So I am left with time. So we can discuss certain issues here, like either from the chat box, otherwise I will pick up my some issues for the general discussion. Who agree that there should be a proficiency testing in school experiments in 11th and 12th or 10th, because these days students of science are not busy in experiments, they are busy doing coaching, and experiments are neglected, which later on in life is going to affect the measurements they do or whatever work they do. So whosoever agrees with this, please put Y in chat box. I can't see chat box. So do students agree that there should be proficiency testing for students also to see whether they are doing the measurement right or not? Each examiner during the exam comes with an artifact and says, okay, measure the resistance value of this. Will you agree for that? Yes, people are, some are agreeing, some are fearful that this is what madam is talking of. Already we are under so much of pressure of exams. This is another thing. Practical exam is also becoming nuisance. Okay, anyway, so that is this thing. Sejal, what you want to say? Say in chat box. I think organizers don't allow speaking. So please say in chat box, and Ashutosh ji is there as an interface for us And believe me, you have a very good interface. He is very much, he articulates things and he will speak your question very nicely.
Ma'am, we have some questions also.
Yeah.
Somebody is asking, in sequential calibration PT, after every participant, PT item is required to come back to PTP, or can it be like PTP, lab 1, lab 2, lab 4, like that, lab N?
See, all
Then
kinds of
PTP.
things are allowed by the standard. As far as the standard goes, it says have the party artifact returned to the PT coordinator or sent to the next as per the schedule. So it is allowing. Okay, but certain PT providers, they there is one more clause in standard about which we didn't talk. That clause is measures to avoid falsification and collusion. Collusion and falsification means that participant amongst themselves can tell each other results. Okay, and they can come out. This is effective not in calibration, it will not affect because there we have reference value that is not known. But if it is the value to be decided by assigned value to be decided by consensus. So these measures are to be taken by PT provider for knowing, for stopping falsification and collusion. And some PT provider I have seen when I go for accreditation assessment that they take one of the measures that they don't tell names of all the participants to all the participants. And they give very little time and they ask them to return so that this collusion and falsification doesn't take. So as far as standard goes, it allows. It also allows some people do this, three will be in sequence and then in between it returns to see whether stability is still there or anything has not gone bad. So that is a star method. So this is called a star method. When each time it is coming back, it is a star method. It can be loop method, that after one smaller loop it is coming. And there are various methods of circulation. So this can be done always.
Okay. The another question is, who can carry out internal audit of a PT provider?
Trained standard says audit has to be organized. I will speak the language of standard only and then we will discuss. So audit has to be carried out by a trained personnel, knowledgeable and trained personnel who is independent of activity being audited as far as possible by the resources. So this
Okay.
is the requirement. So now in a smaller organization where it is not possible to have independent persons, sometimes people go for or organizations go for a external person for internal audit. But it is an internal audit. It can be done by internal persons. Only standard only requires that as far as possible, there should be independence of activity so that there is no bias.
Okay. Somebody is asking, please clarify when to go for Z score, Zeta score, EN score.
See, if you are using a reference value from an expert lab, you already know the reference value. So EN score would be better off. In calibration, right now, NABL puts this condition that the reference lab measurement lab should be directly traceable. Their standard should be directly traceable to NMI. That means in calibration, we are taking reference lab and that's why we are going for EN score. Then Z score usually is going in testing field mostly, but it can be done anywhere where is consensus value decided and each participant's uncertainty is not required, but ultimately you are doing SDPA of the PT. So that will be done only after the round is complete. Then Zeta score is additional measure. If I am getting Z score higher, if I give additional information about Zeta score also with the lab's uncertainty, lab can see whether they are higher. So they may go hand in hand. Okay, so Z score and Zeta score both can go hand in hand because Zeta score provides the lab an opportunity to see whether it is due to uncertainty claim being wrong. So Z and Zeta, I think it is better to use both. But there is, if number of participant is less, there is Z prime, which is slightly modified Z score, which I didn't discuss here because of. paucity of time and overload of information. There are other methods also, algorithm A, etc., which are not discussed. There are many more complex design, interquartile measurement, more complex design will be there. But believing that audience may not dive into that much of statistics in the first lecture, which is introduction, it will be there because statistics for PT, we run 2 days course.
Okay, thank you. The next point is, ma'am, somebody is saying, in my opinion, PT for school college students may not be required as PT is for professional competent pupil.
Yes, it is not required as of now. My thing was only just to stimulate our brains because these days we have seen when students are coming out of school college, they don't have always very good experimental skills. And reason being, in our time, we used to give lot of time to experimental thing. Nowadays, pressure of competitions is so much that we are going for coaching we all have children, we have seen them, so they are going for coaching, they are going for school classes where they have to pass, and sometimes some teachers take experiment lightly and they say, okay,
Excuse
you are
me,
doing measure here, so it's just a measure and just
excuse
a
me,
simple
madam.
that it is not required, not
Ashutosh
required.
ji,
Yes, sir.
you know that the school college people, they are not issuing the certificate for any internal trade or any other type of thing. The things is done by them inside their laboratory and college or universities for their own testing purpose. Therefore, the proficiency testing is not required
Yes, I agree,
unless
sir.
uh, they are doing any type of such business or other type of thing. Even though the laboratory can go for the ISO 9000 or 17025, if the laboratory has taken 17025, the officer who is responsible in that very college or universities, they can do the internal test laboratories of the proficiency test, and they will only do the things, and the students are not responsible for that.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Perfectly agree.
Correct?
It was just to stimulate students to say something.
No, but the point
Uh,
is actually, sir, the student should know how to calculate. That is basically, somewhere we are lacking.
very good question जो है that student may be given some training program in the college that how to do such measurement of uncertainty, proficiency test, and if they are going to be open a laboratory or work in a laboratory, what will be their duty?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The next question is, many labs facing issues of CMC, many PT providers not available, and those who are PT providers are having finer or coarser CMC.
Right?
So
Agree?
you know that for that the National Physical Laboratory is responsible for the proficiency test. So it is better that the people who are going for the proficiency test, they should contact the National Physical Laboratory or any RRSL for the guidance.
Thank you, sir, for
Okay.
giving the
Yes,
answer.
sir. Sir,
And
the
we
next
will
question
be
is,
contacted.
Uh,
Santoshi,
Yes, sir.
can we take the photos of all the participants? Can you make them the panelist in the
Okay.
meantime? Because madam
Okay, sir.
wanted to go somewhat early today, and that's why
Okay,
we,
no problem.
we
12:45,
Okay, sir, no
12:45.
problem.
Still I am
Ma'am,
waiting.
please unshare the screen.
yeah,
Unshare the screen. Okay.
yeah, and
Start.
we will take the questions later on.
Okay.
हाँ आशुतोष जी कैसे हैं? प्रोग्राम तो आपको बहुत सक्सेसफुल रहा आज का।
आशुतोष जी के सारे प्रोग्राम सक्सेसफुल रहते हैं।
नमस्कार मैडम।
नमस्कार सर।
My request to all the participants to kindly switch off their mics because we are making all of you participants panelists so that if even after that, as soon as this program should be over, we will take this the questions again. Just give me 2 minutes. Kindly switch off your mics, please. And only videos can please open. I would like to request all the participants. All the participants are requested to kindly switch on their videos so that we can take the photos. I would like to request all the participants that these programs are available on Tutor. Tutor handle is Legal Metrology India or LMGOI. My request is kindly like these programs. We are putting it on the Twitter handle.
Certificate goes to them only who like and
My
subscribe.
request is to kindly switch off the participants.
आशुतोष जी क्योंकि किसी ने 17025 का ईयर ऑफ पब्लिकेशन बोला था, so maybe there was a typing mistake. I will check that. But since it is going to be on recording, how will we correct that on the recording?
Ma'am, we will do that. We have already spoken during the meeting that it is 2017. When somebody asked, I already clarified that it is 2017.
Because I will also check my slides whether
Yeah.
there was a
No,
mistake.
ma'am, my request is you kindly put it in the chat box. It will be better.
Sure.
Or otherwise, you have spoken. It is already recorded that this
Fine.
this 17025 is 2017.
17, yeah. संतोष जी जब हमें सिग्नल देंगे तब हम स्टार्ट करेंगे.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, Santosh ji used to make this all the programs of the department. Is the backbone for this all IT system.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
संतोष जी के लिए क्लैपिंग.
Thank you.
देखा तो सर देखा गया.
I would like to request all the participants to kindly switch on their videos so that we can take the pictures.
How many participants are there only?
200 plus.
Oh, then it will not be possible for everybody to switch on.
So if we will take 3-4 pictures,
Yeah.
how many we can take? Because all of them are not switching on their videos.
Yeah.
Professor Rajput, from IIT BHU.
Okay.
Namaskar Ashutosh ji, Namaskar Reena ma'am.
Namaskar,
Your
sir.
lecture had been amazing, and in fact, I joined just this time only, but in future certainly we will be interacting more and participating more aggressively and actively.
And sir, your friend Dr. Dikshit may also be there. I don't know whether right now he's there or not.
Probably not.
Yeah, Professor Dikshit, MITS.
I would also like to tell the participants that we have reduced fee for our courses a lot because of skill development mission of Government of India. Now a 2 days course costs only 4,000 per DST and a 3 days course 5,000 plus GST. So a lot of students can make use of our training calendar as per their interest. We also have this option that you write to us in what areas NPL can organize courses for you. So we will see if there is enough interest, we will do that. And the third thing for school students also, we have a जिज्ञासा program. जैसे अभी दीक्षित जी ने rightly बोला कि students के लिए कोई training होना चाहिए. So under जिज्ञासा program, schools can contact us for visit. One is visit so that they get attracted to science, and the other is they can come for 1 week project, 2 week project training kind of thing. So that is also under Jigyasa program. So Jigyasa and Skill Development Mission are two big programs of Government of India.
One another request, ma'am. Actually, today this 17043 program which you did today, I would like to request you because we need some more clarity. How to do? What will be the process? How a lab has to contact with a PT provider, and how it can be done fast. Because now, as it is the requirement of the standard, I would like to take one more lecture from this program whenever you are free in a practical way.
Yeah, one example of PT we can cover totally, but better would be if there is enough interest, then to go for at least 2 day program where all the parts can be told, at least selection of PT and
Very good, बहुत बढ़िया. Ma'am, what we can do, ma'am, then in this case, I would like to request you on any Saturday and Sunday when you are free, we can call you at Ahmedabad because this regional reference standards laboratory is organizing these programs. So on Saturday and Sunday, we will be having two regular programs, maybe for in a day 4 hours or 5 hours, lecture and theory, lecture and practical, how to calculate, how to do.
But then we have to control the audience should be 17025 labs, etc. Because otherwise it will be too much for them. For students.
Yes, ma'am. Today we have large number of participants from the labs also.
Yeah.
Santoshji, is it okay? Now
Done, sir. Done, sir.
Done. Thank you very much. I would like to thank all the participants to join us. Certainly, I would like to request you to kindly like us on LM India Twitter handle or LMGOI Twitter handle. Now these programs very soon will be available on our website as well as on the YouTube channel of LMGOI. Very soon we will be having these programs. And secondly, sir and all the respected professors from the colleges and the R&D institutions kindly help us in making our society better. With this, I would like to thank all. Thank you very much. We'll meet in the next week, next Saturday. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Ashutosh ji.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
कभी एक लीगल मेट्रोलॉजी अवेयरनेस पे लेक्चर देना चाहिए.